one small job into, oh, two bathrooms now, and
Yep.
so on
Yep.
and so forth.
Right. And it's appealing because you're like thinking, well, now I don't have to find work. All right, this is perfect. It's right here. Let's just stay in this house and do all these different things. Well, what's happening is that you're not giving your team an opportunity to develop consistency. Okay. And essentially, it's already inconsistent enough when a team does a different house every week, right? So now you're throwing in the inconsistency of not only doing a different house every week, but doing a totally different job skill set. Okay. There's
Right.
no flow happening. That creates burnout in a company. All right, everyone, welcome to the Business Breakthrough series. I'm here with Dylan from Chameleon Decor, and we're gonna get down to it. We're gonna talk business. Dylan, just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what your day to day looks like in your business, and essentially we'll get into some of the things that you're wanting to discuss and go over in this breakthrough session, man. So take it away.
Right on. Yeah. So Chameleon Decor it all started or kind of really uh, progressed when COVID hit.
Oh, wow.
I was working at a gym as a personal trainer, and I've always done painting, bunch of different trades on the side. And after the gym shut down, I had to do something.
Okay.
And yeah, started the business. My dad flew up to Thunder Bay. We're both from Toronto.
Okay.
And yeah, so now my day to day looks like on a couple different sites a day, kind of bouncing back and forth. I've got two guys working with me plus my father,
Okay.
and yeah, right now it's just trying to find a balance between keeping the business running and making sure that production stays high.
Yeah, yeah. So
Because
it's the never ending balance that you're in right now. So that's a
absolutely,
good kind of snippet of information. Let me stop there before we get too far ahead. I really first want to hit on the fact that you're working with your dad, and whenever I coach people or hear that is a situation, how's that dynamic working out for you? Is he an employee or is he a partner?
he's a partner, so
Okay, so
it's a partnership for the business.
good.
Where he's predominantly like kind of training the guys that we have,
Cool.
because we do our scope is more than just painting. We
Okay.
do tile work, we do flooring installation,
Okay.
kitchen and bathroom remodels.
Okay.
Um, so he knows all of this stuff with numerous years of experience. So
Right.
the two guys that we have, he's been helping to train them,
Okay.
where my roles are supposed to be more so of the business stuff, but I'm obviously getting caught in doing a
Yeah,
lot of
trying
the
to keep
work too.
production up. Gotcha. So your hands are dirty. You're kind of trying to balance out your scheduling. You have your dad, who's a partner in the business, but you have these two guys. Now, are these two guys people that he knew beforehand, or are these two guys that you brought on? How'd you find these two guys?
Yeah, so one of them's a good buddy of mine who I played baseball with,
Okay.
and the other guy is a friend of a friend who needed some work. And
Okay.
so this past summer, I had numerous deck jobs and exteriors to do.
Okay.
So the one guy I played baseball with has painting experience, has exterior
Perfect.
painting experience, so that was perfect. We gelled right away.
Okay.
The other guy had some experience in different areas of trades, but no
Sure.
painting experience.
Sure.
But he's perfect laborer. So when we were
Great.
doing decks, masking for
Yeah.
exteriors, it was awesome.
So you have a good
Uh,
team. These guys are good guys.
yeah, good
Awesome.
workers.
Good
Yeah,
workers. Okay. So kind of wanting to really kind of dive into the problem here. And I'm looking at a couple things. The first thing you said, and this scares the heck out of me, is the fact that you're telling me that you do tile work, you do remodeling, you do all these different things, and you're a painting company. So why don't you tell me how that's been working out for you? And I'm sure you know the answer, but go ahead and
yeah,
tell me. So let me
yeah.
guess. Let me guess first, and then you tell me. So you're taking on these jobs, and they're taking longer than they're scheduled and budgeted for. It's causing a lot of stress because chances are, your friend's an exterior painter. Your dad's the only one that knows how to do it, right?
Yep,
So your
yep.
dad's pretty much calling the plays here, and he doesn't really have much help. So he's doing it all himself. And you probably learned from your dad. So you're the second in command. So you're having to go do these crazy jobs and then your employees aren't being utilized to their capacity. And then ultimately now you're in a position where you can't leave because no one else knows what to do. Your dad's probably older. You're probably my age. So he's probably in his 50s. He's getting tired. Your customers are getting a little angry. And now you're in a position where you're like, what is going on? Yes?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to give you the first actionable piece of advice here is and this is just straight up, stop doing anything but painting. Stop. Because the money, and I like to call this opportunity cost, okay? The money that you're giving up is essentially the opportunity cost. Like, so you're taking on these jobs that have high dollar amounts usually. I mean, that's why you're
Yeah.
taking tile jobs, you're taking all these things. There's two major issues. The first issue is that there's paint jobs that cannot be accomplished because you're too busy taking on these jobs. Okay, because it's easy pickings. You probably maybe painted someone's house and they're like, "Hey, do you do tile work too?" and that has that happened?
Well, yeah. All my estimates kind of turn
Turn into that.
into
Okay.
one small job into, oh, two bathrooms now, and
Yep.
so on
Yep.
and so forth.
Right. And it's appealing because you're like thinking, well, now I don't have to find work. All right, this is perfect. It's right here. Let's just stay in this house and do all these different things. Well, what's happening is that you're not giving your team an opportunity to develop consistency. Okay. And essentially, it's already inconsistent enough when a team does a different house every week, right? So now you're throwing in the inconsistency of not only doing a different house every week, but doing a totally different job skill set. Okay. There's
Right.
no flow happening. That creates burnout in a company. Okay. Because these guys literally not only have to learn a new environment, they have to learn a new set of skills every single few days. Right.
Yeah.
And that takes the pressure off of you. You don't know your margins. You probably have no clue how much you're making. Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
another question that I
Sure.
have, right? So,
Sure. And we'll dive into that.
yeah.
So really if we're going to set the pace for where we're going with this right now, the number one word that you need to learn, and you have to say it with confidence, knowing that you can trust your sales and marketing enough to make sure that you're going to have work for your team, is no. You have
Right.
to say no. And it was hard for me. I've been there. I actually took on a tile job. Maybe you saw something that I said or posted
Yeah.
about the
Yeah.
situation.
No, I heard that podcast
Yeah.
where you
And I
dove right
took
into that. Yeah.
Right. And I took the tile job. I painted the inside of a house. I took the tile job. We botched it completely. It took us 2 weeks. The resources, the energy. It only had to happen to me one time to never do it again. Okay. But your
Yeah.
dad's probably super confident. He's probably like, yeah, I can do it. Right.
Yeah. Well, like that's kind of the problem, is that like both my father and myself, like we do have the skills. Like we do decent work in my opinion
Sure.
for tile and flooring. So
Sure.
we like doing it, but I know for a fact like it is something that's probably shot myself in the foot
Right.
with,
Right.
like, we need to narrow down, like you're saying.
Yeah, narrow down. And one of my favorite analogies that I've come up with is because it's so true. It's like if Starbucks wanted to, they could probably figure out how to sell people steak sandwiches, like homemade steak. But you don't go to Starbucks for steak. No one wants Starbucks steak. However, they figure it out. Hardly anyone wants their breakfast. It's way too
Yeah.
overpriced anyway. But they figured out a way to do that. But I'm talking about a filet mignon. You don't go there for that. You go there for coffee. Okay. And
Yeah.
they do that for a reason because, in order to create a really good steak experience, that would mean that they have to figure out how to work that into their demand. They'd have to get a new oven. They'd have to get a new person to man the steak station, and it's like, what are we doing? We sell coffee. We're good at selling coffee. Let's keep selling coffee and get better at selling coffee. And if Starbucks eventually decides to create another business called Starbucks Steaks, that's when they do that. So let me kind of bring that into you. It's like you guys are probably really good at all these different things, but you don't have a system yet. So
Yeah.
it's like you don't really have anything to branch out from. Like, I'm not saying you can't take on extra work, but I'm saying that create the system first that runs independently and then branch out and do whatever you want. For me, we do interior and exterior painting. I did exterior painting for 6 months. I didn't take any interiors. Then eventually, once we mastered that, I then took interiors and I worked that into my business. Now we do crown molding. Okay. I didn't take crown molding for the first year, but I feel confident in our system. I have a good subcontractor for crown molding and trim work. That's something that I can branch out to. Okay. But it didn't make sense to do that early on. If I started taking a crown job and I would take exterior and interior, we didn't get good at anything. So that's kind of where I want to get at with that for you.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So bridging into that, where are you finding your work? How do you find business?
To be honest, it's literally been word of mouth.
All right, that's a
So
problem. That's a major
yeah,
problem, and a lot of people think that's a good thing. They're they're prideful when they say that. I think it's a good thing because you have a
yeah,
good your reputation. Word of mouth is great if you don't plan on growing. And what's happening to you is what's happening because you have nothing that you trust to bring you business. So by default, you're going to take anything that comes your way because you have no other plan. So to you, it's like, okay, I have to take this job because I don't know where else my job's going to come from. You haven't created a system that brings in business for you. So for me, I can confidently say, no, I'm good on your tile job. That's $5,000. That's going to take me 2 weeks and confuse the heck out of my guys. I got a way to get paint jobs anytime I need them. Okay. A lot of
right.
people get on me for home advisor, but guess what? Whenever I need a paint job, all I gotta do is turn that stupid thing on and paint jobs come my way. Okay.
Yeah,
So people say, well, oh my God, you're paying for leads. That's not how you do it. Absolutely. You're paying for leads some way or another. However you advertise, if you do advertise the word of mouth, you have a sign out there or
yeah,
whatever. This is just quick money. I mean, if you were to knock on doors and find paint jobs, that would cost you your time. For me, I think it's a good investment to spend money on leads so you can save time marketing and you could just get to the actual production and collect money and then reinvest it. And that's how you do it. So there's a few avenues that I think you should explore. Now, do you have a website?
that's it's in the works. It's being built right
Okay.
now. I've
Okay.
got yeah, an old boss is actually helping build that thing.
Great.
Yeah, like it has been word of mouth, and it's not because I
How
just got
long, how
sick
long
of
is,
work.
how long has that website been in the works?
It's been 2 weeks now.
2 weeks.
So
Okay.
yeah,
ASAP. Yeah.
yeah,
Because the whole purpose of your website is to bring traffic from Google. That's it. I mean, your website's cool to show off pictures and stuff, but everyone's looking on Facebook, everyone's looking on Instagram. You just need a website so when somebody's searching for a painter in your area, you're not one of the companies without a website. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah,
Are you
for
guys on
sure.
Google?
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
just
great.
got on Google.
How many reviews do you have?
To be honest, I don't even think we have
Okay,
any
you need
right
to
now.
have 10 by I'm 10 by next week. You need to find you're young. I know all your friends are on Facebook, dude. Tell
Yeah,
them to leave you character reviews on Facebook. Put your link out to your company. You need 10 reviews by next week. That'll put you in the top 25% of every painting company in your area. 10 reviews,
okay,
guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? That's
yeah,
why people call. Literally, they look at the reviews. Think about when you go out to eat with your wife or your girlfriend. What are you doing? You're looking at reviews. Okay, cool. We'll go here. That's a good idea. Same thing with even with painting, even flooring. It's the reviews.
hmm,
So I know 10 people that can leave you, and make sure that you tell them leave character reviews. Don't lie and say I painted your house when I didn't. You know what I'm saying?
hmm, hmm.
And even have your employees write reviews. You got young employees that can navigate Google, say, "Hey, I love working for this company. I'm an employee." That goes a long way.
Right,
You
right,
know what
right.
I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So actionable advice aside from saying no to things that
It's
aren't your specific skill set and niche is to obviously get that website up and running and
yeah,
then get that Google reputation up. Every customer needs to give you a Google review, and let me give you the easiest way to have somebody give you a review. It's very simple. Hey, just so you know, you're going to get an email from me a little later today. It'll have a link with a Google review link there. Could you please leave me a review? And if you look them in the eye and they say no, well, obviously that's not going to happen. They're going to say yes. So literally everyone who literally looks at you in the eye and says, okay, yeah, I'll do that for you, we'll leave you a review. I mean, 99% of people.
yeah, yeah.
So, all right. So I gave you some
Sweet.
things. Let's start. Any questions you have so far with some of that?
No, that's good advice. Yeah, it's
Okay.
just to kind of kickstart and really push myself to focus on those areas, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean that's
That's
going to be
good.
huge for you. I mean, because ultimately your job, if you're a partnership with your dad, let me tell you something. First, you're light years ahead of a lot of people who are starting out and do not have somebody to handle production, right? So what you should be doing is only taking paint jobs, and make sure you tell your dad so he's on the same page. Say, look, I'm going to get us paint jobs. I'll find out. And I know in Canada you have Home Stars up there. You need to
Yeah,
get on Home Stars, call
yeah,
them and make sure that you sign up for them so you have a steady flow of leads. I mean, Home Stars, I don't know if Thumbtack's up there. Whatever you can sign up for,
sometimes.
sign up for it because a lot of these are pay per lead. So get to a point where you don't want to spend any more money, you just shut it off and they won't send you any leads.
Gotcha.
So from there, you're just going to master your sales process at that point, and that's a conversation for a different time. But
Yeah.
you're going to master that. You're going to figure out the game. You want to call them right away. You want to, obviously be personable on the phone, show up, do your presentation, close the deal on the spot, that
Hmm.
whole thing, right? But the goal is, and like I was saying with your dad, is that you have this person that you trust to manage production. Your job is marketing and sales. Right now, you're doing no marketing, so you're not really doing your job very well because you're busy,
Yeah.
production. But
Yeah.
now I'm giving you some tools to. This is marketing, okay? Now we talked about Google, we talked about your website, we talked about paid lead generation. So that's 3 traffic sources for you right off the bat, okay?
Right.
Number 4 is Facebook, okay? You
Right.
have you have free leads that you can find through Facebook groups, okay? Obviously, groups are absolutely enormous everywhere. So groups you can get on, just being active in your community with the chamber. I don't know if in Canada they have chambers of commerce. Do they?
No.
Well, I'm sure it's a different
Yeah.
name or something, but
Yeah.
essentially it's
Something.
something
Okay.
that all the businesses come together. I think they have BNI up there. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I'll have to look a little
Yeah.
bit more
So
into
essentially it's
that.
business networking, like, right? So that's another traffic stream, right? It's all about getting like traffic. Like if your business was a website, let's put it this way. If your business was a website and you had the best product in the world on your website, if no one can find it, your product's worthless. So it's like you need to get your name out everywhere, dude. I mean,
Right.
in any way, and you have to think, where are people going to find paint jobs? Back in the day, it was newspaper, it was phone book, it was all these like archaic things.
Yeah.
Now it's Google, now it's Facebook, now it's lead generations. I mean, if you turn on your TV, give it about 30 minutes and you'll see a paid lead generation service for home services. Put on HGTV, you'll see that advertisement come up. That is where people are going. They don't trust contractors, so it's easier for them to go to someone who has screened the contractor to give them the name of somebody, you know.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So, and you got to think about it again, like, are you a homeowner?
Yes. Yeah.
So have you had anything done to your house so far since you moved in? Did you hire anyone to do anything? I know you're pretty
No.
handy, so
No. So I
probably
typically
not.
do pretty much all the stuff whenever
Right.
I get to
So
it.
so God forbid anything happens with the AC, man. I'm not an AC guy, but
Yeah.
I immediately when something happens, like the first reaction for me was to go to Google. So like my suggestion to you is get on Google and Google the painting companies in your area,
Yeah.
right? So see, like go through that process of what your customers doing. It's like painters in Toronto and see who you're up against,
Right.
right? You're in
Yeah.
a big city, but I
Yeah.
guarantee you that the competition isn't as stiff as you think.
No, no, and I do know most of the competition within my city. I actually worked for one of the companies before,
Okay,
so I do have a little bit of insight
good,
that way.
good.
Um, yeah.
So what's the difference maker for you? I mean, like honestly, like what separates you? If you're trying to sell me on your business, like why would I hire you over someone else? I mean, you're very new. You don't have any ratings. Your branding is probably not fully there. You don't have a website. What is it that makes you trustworthy?
I really go for like the experience for like from exactly when I have contact with a person. My number one goal is to make that homeowner or client um, just have a very, very positive experience and
Okay.
enjoy the process.
Yeah.
Because I know how stressful construction can be.
Yeah.
I know like all assets of it, right? So just like being able to interact and help homeowners and have that full transformation and to see their fucking I know it sounds cheesy, but to see their smile at the end of the day when the
Yeah.
job's all completed,
That's
that's
not cheesy, dude. That's I think anyone who has pride in being a tradesman gets that same satisfaction.
yeah,
And
that's really what like I
yeah,
think that differentiates me a little bit
sure.
is because like I really strive
Yeah.
to make sure, and I know you stress on this, is that the communication with the homeowner is
Yeah.
top notch.
Communication is huge. And I'm sure it's been stressful for you to be saying, okay, it's going to be this day instead of this day because
Absolutely.
you're kind of falling behind. So what's going on right now? What's the scene for Chameleon Decor in terms of like what's happening Monday? Like what job are you guys working on? Like what's going on?
So Monday, well, currently we have a kitchen remodel that is taking a little bit longer
Okay.
and it needs to get done. We're also in the middle of a bathroom remodel. And so essentially, So I've grown way too rapidly. So I essentially Monday, what's happening, I'm pulling my father and one of my guys to the kitchen. So all four of us will wrap it up, which I know is now going to delay me on that bathroom remodel, which is going
Okay,
to
have you
delay.
started that bathroom remodel yet?
Yes.
How
So
far into it are you?
we're in the process of putting things actually back. So we've ripped it all down to studs. We've put in new walls that we had to, and then so now we're going into making
So
it look
pretty
good.
deep. Yeah, pretty deep.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So we're a week into that one, and then this kitchen remodel where this will be the third week now on it, which
Dude.
isn't bad in the grand scheme of things, but
So
um,
Chameleon Decor isn't decorating. They're not painting.
no, not right at the end of the job we'll paint, but yeah, but
I
that's the
see what
thing.
you mean.
Like next week, or not this week, but the week after that, we've got a interior paint job.
Do you have
Uh,
any more remodeling jobs on your schedule?
yes, I got
Okay.
two more.
That you haven't started yet.
Yeah, I got a bathroom another bathroom I haven't started, and
So
an
so let me
attic.
ask you this, and I get it. Let me ask you this: how committed are you? Like, are you happy right now? Are you stressed?
Oh, I'm stressed for sure.
Stressed to the so what
Yeah,
you need to do, honestly, brother, and take my advice. I'm gonna save you from stress. Sometimes you gotta let go. You gotta call these people and say, listen, I know this isn't what you want to hear, but unfortunately, I don't want to get myself in a position where I leave you with a project that is unsatisfactory. I have to put myself on the line here, and I have to walk away from your project. You refund the deposit, and you
yeah,
and you walk away. It's time. Like, you have to, or you're just gonna. I'm gonna hit you up next month, and you're gonna tell me, all right, man, we got this tile job happening, and like you have to be able to let go, and it's gonna be hard because they probably are excited and you got the investment. It's going to be tough, but you put yourself in that position, and the pain of having to do that is going to remind you enough next time this occurs to let go, because that's taking away from 5 or 6 paint jobs that you could be doing. And your team's probably stressed out, bro. I mean,
yeah,
starting a job and not finishing, and then you can tell the customer, I mean, the customer's unfinished work in their bathroom, and that they can't even use their freaking bathroom, and that you should be there Monday, but you have to be like, okay, so sorry, we're gonna have to be there Tuesday. Dude, it's chaos.
yeah, yeah.
So
That's
honestly,
is what it is. Yeah,
ready for this? Honestly, it's Sunday. People are in their most restful state today. Okay. I would call today before Monday hits and everyone's in the stress of their day. And, oh, great, the freaking chameleon's calling, telling me, you know.
yeah,
So my honest suggestion is to back away, call them, say, hey, this isn't going to work out. Refund their deposit 100%. Maybe even give them a $50 Amazon gift card, because that's going to protect your reputation. Whatever you
yeah,
have to do to overcompensate and apologize. Put the blame on you completely. You're a new business owner. You didn't know any better. You're in over your head. And the last thing you would ever want to do is give someone an unsatisfactory project, because that's not why you went to business. That's going to free you. That's going to de-stress you. You tell your dad, this is the last remodeling job we're ever going to do in this business if we want to be successful. If we want to continue to shoot ourselves in the foot and make $350 a week somehow, we got to let go.
right.
Because you're not getting any cash flow right now. There's no way.
No,
Yeah,
it's
yeah. How
that's
much
another
are you
question.
owed? How much are you owed on these 2 jobs?
Um, between both of them is what 11, I think
11
it's
grand.
yeah,
11 grand. How much
yeah,
deposit? How much deposit did you take?
just 10%.
10%.
Yeah,
Yeah. With remodeling, I'm sure you're learning that that's not a good idea.
no, because that's also
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
a tough pill to
Yeah,
swallow.
because now you're paying for all the materials out of your pocket.
Yeah,
So yeah, and in painting, you could take 10%, finance the paint through Sherwin-Williams, and be good with it, But with contracting, you have 8 different vendors you got to go to for all these different things, and it's messy, man. It's messy.
yeah,
But there is light at the end of the tunnel, and it's really up to you. And what it comes down to is developing a consistent production and painting, and that's it. And staying with painting and not doing anything else for a year. If anyone asks you to do anything outside of painting, you say no. Sorry, we just stick with what we're good at. Dude, I've turned down so much work. I've probably turned down almost as much work as we do. I mean, because
right,
we're a very highly ranked painting company here. So people call us for everything. No, sorry, we don't do new construction. No, sorry, we don't do commercial. No, sorry, we don't do, apartment flips. No, sorry, we don't do, like, I have no problem saying that because I know what we're good at. Residential repaints. That's it.
Right.
Okay. What is the revenue looking like for you on a month-to-month basis on average?
That I don't even have the proper answers for.
Okay.
Like I don't like that's my system. Like I've been like I need to pull away from all the production to be able to really focus on
Good.
all aspects of
Good.
running the business properly because I don't even have those answers.
Yeah, and that's stressful.
Yeah.
Anytime, like it's just, and I know that puts a lot of pressure on you because you got people that count on you, your dad, you probably promised him a fresh start, getting this business going, but you got to make the tough decisions, dude. Leaders and business owners have to be tough. It's going to be vulnerable to call these people and say no, but that's going to channel you and give you enough motivation to really take the advice I'm giving you. Get your 10 reviews on Google, okay? Get your Home Stars account set up. Find whatever other lead services are out there, Painter's Choice or Angie's List, or I don't know exactly all the ones that are in Canada, but they're in Canada, trust me.
Absolutely.
So getting your Facebook business profile up and posting every day, taking pictures, getting a following, interacting with people, being a personality, dude. That's what people buy. And when you can capture that, you're no longer at the mercy of these random jobs that you're taking. Because think about it, it's taken you 3 weeks. If you took a 10% deposit on 11 grand, you took $1,100, so you sold the kitchen remodel for 12.1, right? That was the price. So it's taking you 3 weeks to capitalize on 12.1. That's $4,000 a week. Ultimately, that's a painting crew should be bringing in anywhere between 6,000 to 8,000 in a week, fully capitalized. Your crew of 3 should be at about 6,000 to 8,000 in a week, doing anywhere between 2 and 3 jobs. Okay, right. So if you were painting the whole time, let's say you went on the low end of my spectrum here, that's 18,000 in 3 weeks, and you're scratching the surface of 11 with a much higher material cost. Okay, right? So your material cost on remodeling is probably close to 30 to 40% about.
Yeah.
So
around there.
Yeah. So paint cost is usually between 15 and 20%. Okay. So your margins are way higher on painting anyway. All you got to paint. You're buying tile. You're probably buying cabinets. You're probably, hope to God you didn't have to replace the countertops.
I did. However, for this specific job, the homeowner already had the new ones ready to go, already purchased. But obviously, that's not going to happen with every job.
Right. So that's, was this helpful?
Very. I think it's like you've given good advice, and it is helpful for me for sure.
Yeah.
I kind of knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what I knew. I brought this all on myself with taking on.
Yeah, but you're not that deep into it to where you're just like, screw it. I'm looking at it like, dude, you just got to have enough, courage to make those calls. And anytime I've had to make those calls, which I've had to do, I just had to just accept whatever came and just tread carefully when you call and just make it seem like it's in their best interest to accept their fate with you not doing their work.
Yeah.
It's in their best interest. Just say, listen, I have to be honest here. I don't want to ruin your house.
Yeah.
And then, so you asked me some questions about revenue. We were talking about a little bit of job costing. Did you have some questions about that or?
Yeah, that's kind of a main one is how, how do I get paid when I remove myself from all of the production?
Sure.
Is just how do I keep a steady flow of income for myself?
Absolutely. So it's a good question. So think about it like this. All right. You have your dad, and employee 1, employee 2. Okay. What I'd like for you to do is visualize, this building above you guys. Okay. You guys are working inside the business. All right. You guys are performing tasks, and what you're all trying to do is bring in money and give it to the business. Okay. You have a role right now. We're going to call you the sales manager, sales and marketing manager. We're going to call your dad the production manager. Okay. And then we're going to call the 2 employees crew leader and helper. Okay. The goal is, think of a conveyor belt. All right. The goal is for this conveyor belt to pop you out of the business and for someone to assume the roles that were underneath the business. Okay. Now you're up here. Okay. And then your dad would be up here eventually. Okay. And yes, you could still do your role, but you wouldn't be underneath the business. Now, the reason why I'm trying to illustrate this for you is because ultimately when you're underneath here, okay, you're making a salary as that role. You would be getting paid from the business to do the task that role requires. Once you're out of it, that's when you make dividends, profit. Okay. So you can actually be making both at the same time. But in the beginning of a growing business, you don't really want to take too much of your profits away. You want to reinvest the profits to hire more people, to get better equipment, to do all these things. Eventually, when the business runs itself, so let me give you an example. Let's say you guys have 2 crews and your dad is running all production. We're going to call him a supervisor of the business. So he would draw a salary from the business and he would get paid from the business. Okay. And then all your employees would get paid from the business. And then you, depending on what kind of agreement that you and your dad have, you're either going to continue to be in that role or you're going to have your dad, let's say you have your dad do estimates and your only job becomes doing marketing. Well, you could take a salary from the business and just take a salary, or you could take the dividends. So when you have a partnership, you guys split the dividends however you guys have created whatever your agreement is. And usually you do that on a quarterly or annual basis. For the, and that's just that's kind of like the gist of, the structure. And it's weird because in small businesses, we don't see it like that. But what's interesting is it's the same, like it correlates directly with huge corporations. So if you think of a huge corporation, they have a board of directors, right? They have shareholders, and the shareholders own the business too. And the shareholders get dividends. You're a shareholder of your business. If you've incorporated your business. So let's say you own 50% of the shares and your dad owns 50% of the shares. You can be a shareholder and still work in your business.
Right.
Okay. Does that all that make sense?
Yeah, no, I'm following it.
Right.
Yeah.
So in terms of the pay, like you should have a payroll company handling all this for you. If you're just drawing checks out of your bank account and kind of just writing checks and trying to figure out how to divide it, that's going to cause you a lot of stress. And that's probably how you're doing it right now, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of payroll companies out there, man. And I think that in the beginning, you should find a company that's pretty big. ADP is the most, it's the biggest, dude. I would reach out to them, tell them what's going on. They're going to set you up as an employee in your own business. They're going to set your dad up as an employee in the business. They're going to set up the 2 guys as employees. So every week you're going to look at, how much you think that you should make. So you could say you want to make 500 a week out of the business. And then you want to give your dad 500 a week. So you guys both get a direct deposit of 500 and then your employees get what they, whatever their hourly rate is, and you do that every single week. And eventually once a quarterly report comes out, you guys can draw your dividends. You can take what's called a bonus from the business and make the good money. That's a pretty deep one, but hopefully I didn't really understand that when I first started until I hired a payroll company. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm actually an employee of my business. So I take a salary from our company, and then the dividends and bonuses for being 100% shareholder of my company is what, the majority of the money.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
But job costing is going to help you because, I think that, really job costing is looking at, and with painting, you can really track costs on a per job basis, because with painting, you don't really use a lot of the same paints in residential painting. You're usually using different colors and things like that. So you can tie the costs directly to the job. So for example, if you sell a job for $10,000 and you use $2,000 worth of paint that only got used on that house, that's $8,000 left. Then you have your labor. Let's say your labor was $3,000. So that's $5,000 left. So you made a 50% profit on the job. Gross profit. Okay. And then from there, that's when you divvy out what you and your father split, or however you go from that route.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So anything else, man? Anything pressing?
Uh, no, I think like those were the two, or you covered more with what you went off about, but no, that makes total sense because a lot of the stress that I'm getting now is how to keep my production high with my employees. But
Yep.
you're right, it comes from the job scales are too big, the skills that they have to know are too
Yeah.
vast,
Yeah.
where like you said, they don't build consistency that way, and there's no system that way.
No, not at
So,
all. Not at all. So, going forward, use these resources that I gave you, man. Focus on painting. I hope that you make those phone calls today. You just walk away from those knowing that you're going to find paint jobs and those are going to fill those spots anyway. So, you
yeah,
know, that would be the goal.
sweet,
All right, my
sweet,
friend. Well, thanks so much for your time. And going forward, man, if anything else comes up, man, I'd really love to help you out again and help you on your journey.
absolutely. I really, really appreciate this, man.
Awesome,
Thank you
man.
for your time very
Awesome.
much.
No problem. All right.